He filed for divorce in November 2021 after 3 years of marriage. The couple did not sign a prenuptial agreement before getting hitched. Stevie demanded monthly spousal support payments from Faith.
I don't believe I was making sure that she was loved the way she wanted to be loved and cared for or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't her, it was me type.
At 51, Faith Evans reveals what really happened behind the scenes of her troubled years, from a shocking domestic violence incident in 2020 that shook fans.
There's so many stories and so many events that happen, and a lot of it has already been talked about. So I've never felt the need to have to explain things or clarify things to the public. I lived it.
To the swirling allegations of infidelity that tested her marriage with Stevie J, Faith shares her side of the story.
Faithful, that was Pac's girl. Not his girl, but that was, you know, that was him and her and Pac had something together. They was buddies.
Beyond the personal battles, she's also faced public controversies, like condemning the auctioning of Tupac's nude selfie and a legal fight over conflicting tour dates.
I was pitched this project as something different that hasn't been seen before from my perspective about how I grew up and how I ended up falling in love with Big.
On top of that, Faith took a stand against Kim Porter's diary claims about Biggie's death, calling it a painful invasion of privacy. Let's take a closer look. So in July 2018, Faith Evans and Stevie J shocked many people by getting married in a secret ceremony. They didn't tell anyone beforehand. The wedding happened in a hotel room in Las Vegas. It was very private and quiet, not a big wedding like some celebrities have. This surprise made fans talk a lot. People were curious because Faith and Stevie had known each other for over 20 years. They were just friends for a long time. Nobody expected them to become a couple, let alone husband and wife. That's why the news felt so sudden. Many people didn't understand how the friendship turned into love so quickly.
I crushed on Faith the very first moment I met her, and it was like, oh, she married. But I always watched her from afar.
Some even thought it was a strange match. Stevie J already had a past full of drama with women, like his ex-girlfriend, Joseline Hernandez. So fans wondered if this marriage would last or fall apart just like Stevie's past relationships.
I first met Stevie actually before he was even a part of the Hitmen. I think we just became really good friends early on. I'd be hearing him talk about his baby mamas, and I'm like, child, you better call her, and you know.
Faith had already gone through a lot in her life before marrying Stevie. She was once married to the famous rapper Biggie Smalls, who was murdered in 1997. Faith had lost her husband in a very tragic way. Since then, her love life had not been very stable. Marrying Stevie J brought back a lot of attention to her personal life. Some fans even asked if she was doing this as a way to get back at Biggie's old enemies, or if she truly loved Stevie. Whatever the reason, Faith said, "I do." And the two began their married life. But sadly, the problems didn't take long to start.
Very little that Stevie does surprises me anymore. He's used to pulling stunts.
After the wedding, things between Faith and Stevie J started to go downhill. Stevie's name was already tied to drama. People had seen his behavior on the reality show Love and Hip Hop.
You guys living together? Yes, I'm in the house. Yes, I have been there.
On the show, he had a very messy love life. He was known for cheating and having fights with his exes, Joseline Hernandez and Mimi Faust. Even while dating Faith, Stevie was still causing drama with these women. At one point, Faith found out that Stevie had been secretly seeing Joseline again. This broke her heart. She didn't want to be part of a love triangle or be seen as someone who broke up another couple. So, for a while, she ended things with Stevie. But even that didn't stop the drama from continuing. On Love and Hip Hop, fans saw Stevie trying to fix things with Mimi, even though he was living with Joseline. When Joseline found out about this, she was furious. They had a big fight that played out on national TV.
I really thought things were gonna be better after I met Faith, but clearly Stevie can't be anything but Stevie.
This made Stevie look bad in front of everyone. It showed how messy and confusing his relationships really were. People started to wonder if he had really changed at all, or if he was just bringing that same trouble into his new marriage with Faith. Still, Faith decided to give him another chance. She believed maybe things would get better with time. So they stayed married and tried to make it work. But it didn't take long for more problems to come up. By the third year of their marriage, it looked like the love they once had was fading away. Stevie tried to act like everything was fine on social media. He would post nice things and pretend like life was good. But his actions said something different. Behind the scenes, there was more fighting and more pain. One of the biggest problems came in May 2020. That month, Faith was arrested at their home in Los Angeles. It happened late at night, around 1 a.m. Police were called because of a loud argument. When they arrived, they saw that Stevie had scratches and marks on his face. Because of that, Faith was arrested and charged with felony domestic violence. She was taken to jail but got out the same day after posting bail.
I know everybody goes through their things. You know what I'm saying? There's some shit happened and that was that.
The fight between them had clearly gotten out of control. Many people were shocked to hear that things had gotten that bad.
Singer Faith Evans is a free woman following a recent arrest for felony domestic violence against her husband, Stevie J.
This wasn't the only sign that things were falling apart. Before the arrest, people noticed that Faith and Stevie had stopped following each other on social media. Stevie also started posting strange messages like, "Drunk people tell the truth," and "Nothing lasts forever." These posts made it clear that something bad was going on in their relationship. Fans could tell that trouble was brewing. It was only a matter of time before something serious happened. Eventually, they decided to end their marriage. After almost 2 years of fighting in court, they were finally declared single. Their divorce was official.
I don't believe I was making sure that she was loved the way she wanted to be loved and cared for or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't her, it was me type.
The marriage had lasted 3 years, but it was full of ups and downs. When Stevie first filed for divorce, Faith responded by asking the court to deny his request for money. She didn't want anything from him, and she didn't want to give him anything either. This showed that things between them were no longer friendly. They had already been living apart since the night of the domestic violence arrest. The reason they gave for the divorce was irreconcilable differences. That means they had too many problems they couldn't fix. They worked out the divorce privately. The public didn't get to know all the details about how they split things like money or property. But some people said that Faith might have been ordered to pay Stevie around $30,000 every month. That's a lot of money, and it showed just how bad things had gotten between them. Their divorce was not peaceful.
He filed for divorce in November 2021 after 3 years of marriage. The couple did not sign a prenuptial agreement before getting hitched. Stevie demanded monthly spousal support payments from Faith.
Even though their marriage ended badly, there were still some emotional moments. Stevie J posted an apology online after filing for divorce. He said he was sorry for everything. He admitted he had hurt Faith, embarrassed her, and disrespected her in public. He promised to change and become a better person. He said he wanted to make her happy and support her more. But it was too late. His words couldn't fix the damage that had already been done. They never had any children together. But Stevie still talked about Faith with love sometimes. Fans were confused by his behavior. One moment he was asking for support from the court, and the next moment he was sharing sweet messages about her. It showed how complicated their relationship really was. Faith stayed quiet most of the time. She didn't speak much about the divorce in public. She seemed to want to move on and leave the drama behind. Faith's son, Christopher Jr., once spoke about the marriage too. He said that if his father, Biggie Smalls, were still alive, he would have wanted his mom to be happy. But it's still not clear if Biggie would have liked Stevie J or not. Some fans think he would not have approved. Others believe he might have respected Faith's choices after all these years. For many years, people have talked about a possible romantic relationship between Faith and rapper Tupac Shakur.
You said that you went to Pac's hotel room and, he basically asked for oral at that point.
Well,
These stories have spread all over the hip-hop world. Some people believe it happened, while others think it didn't. Faith has always said that she never slept with Tupac. She said their relationship was only professional and nothing more. They worked on music together, and that was it. But not everyone agrees with her story. Some rappers who are close to Tupac say something different. One of those people is rapper Spice One.
Look at the news, a young black death. Was it drug related? Take a guess.
He was friends with Tupac back in the day. In an interview with The Art of Dialogue, Spice One said that Tupac and Faith were more than just friends. He said they had a friends with benefits kind of relationship.
Faith, that was Pac's girl. That was not his girl, but that was, you know, that was him and her and Pac had something together. They was buddies.
That means they were not boyfriend and girlfriend, but they still had sex sometimes. He said it in a very blunt and rough way, but his point was clear. According to Spice One, Tupac and Faith were close in a physical way, but they were not in love. He even said other people, including Biggie's friends, tried to stop it from happening.
A lot of you got one that you know that don't give a who you with, and you don't give a who she with. From infinity until beyond, y'all.
Spice One explained that sometimes people have that one person they can always go back to, no matter who else they are with. He said it's not about love, it's just about sex. He believes that's what was going on between Tupac and Faith. He also said that it's normal for people to fall in love with the wrong person. In his words, love is blind. He wasn't trying to be mean to Biggie, but he wanted people to understand how things can get messy in real life. He said Biggie truly loved Faith, and that's why it was painful.
And Biggie fell in love with Faith. We all fall in love. It's not a fault of anyone.
Another person who spoke about this is Napoleon, a former member of Tupac's group, The Outlaws.
I think I've seen this before when she was trying to say she didn't know Pac was on death row.
In an interview from 2014, Napoleon said that Faith came to see Tupac while she was still married to Biggie. He said she visited him at the studio, which made people raise their eyebrows.
She went back and told Biggie about the first hit 'em up. Like I said, we had two hit 'em ups. The first hit 'em up, all of us was on it, myself included. When she went back and told Biggie, and that first hit 'em up, it wasn't nowhere near the second hit 'em up.
This added more fuel to the rumor that something personal was going on between them. Napoleon didn't say they had sex, but his story made many people wonder what really happened behind closed doors. In 1996, Faith Evans went to the studio to record a song with Tupac. The song was called Wanda, Why They Call You Bitch.
You wonder why they call you bitch. You wonder why they call you bitch.
Faith later said she didn't know at the time that Tupac was part of Death Row Records. Death Row was the music label that had a big fight with Bad Boy Records, the label Biggie and Faith were signed to. This made things even more complicated. When Faith found out Tupac was part of Death Row, she said she felt uncomfortable, but by then she had already recorded the song with him. Faith also shared that Tupac asked her to sleep with him during that studio visit. She said no. She said nothing sexual happened between them, even though Tupac made a move. She wanted people to know she was there just for music and nothing else. In her 2009 book, she also said again that she never had sex with Tupac, and she was honest about what happened. But many people still have doubts because of what other rappers have said. Tupac himself added to the rumors when he released the song Hit 'Em Up. In that song, he rapped, "You claim to be a player, but I F-ed your wife."
Click, you claim West Side when we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but
This line was clearly aimed at Biggie, and people believed it was about Faith. The line caused a lot of drama. It made fans think the affair really happened. But again, Faith said it was just a lie and part of the rap war between Tupac and Biggie. Faith Evans was married to Biggie from 1994 until he died in 1997. Biggie was shot and killed in Los Angeles when he was only 24 years old.
He was only 24 years old, was just starting what was expected to be a promising career in music. But tonight, it's only what could have been. Los Angeles police are investigating the shooting death of rapper Notorious B.I.G.
Even though many years have passed, people still talk about the rumors of her and Tupac. Faith continues to say they were never lovers, just co-workers in the music world. So, did Faith Evans and Tupac Shakur really have a sexual relationship? Some say yes, some say no. Faith says it never happened, but others who knew Tupac say different. The truth may never be fully known. All we have are stories, rumors, and what people choose to believe. Faith Evans is having a hard time right now. A concert promoter in Atlanta is suing her, and at the same time, she is dealing with shocking claims from a new book. Both problems are causing her stress. The promoter says Faith broke a deal they made, and the book says very hurtful things about her that she says are not true.
If you see some of the excerpts in the book, you know that Kim didn't write the book.
These two situations have come at the same time, and they are upsetting for her and her family. The legal problem started with a concert in Atlanta. A man named Jeremy Hill, who works as a music promoter, says he paid Faith Evans $17,500 to perform at the Wolf Creek Amphitheater on September 10th. He says they had a contract that included a special rule. That rule said Faith could not do any other shows within 100 miles of that place for 6 months. This is called a non-compete rule. But now Faith is supposed to perform at the Bad Boy Family reunion tour in Atlanta just 2 days earlier, on September 8th. That show breaks the rule in the contract, according to Hill. Hill says that once Faith agreed to do the Bad Boy show, she backed out of his show. He believes this is unfair because he already paid her and made plans. He wants his money back and is also asking the court to stop her from performing at the Bad Boy show in Atlanta. Hill is asking for $100,000 in damages. He says this money will help cover the costs of canceling the show and other losses. Faith has not spoken publicly about this lawsuit yet, but it is clearly a big problem. At the same time, Faith is very upset about something else. A new book called Kim's Lost Words was published recently. This book makes serious claims about Faith and her late husband, the rapper Biggie Smalls. Now, the book suggests that Faith might have had something to do with his death. Faith is shocked and deeply hurt by these accusations. She strongly says these claims are false.
So it was a lot of stuff in the book that I know Kim didn't write and Kim didn't say.
The book is only 60 pages long, but it includes a lot of shocking things. One of the most surprising claims is that Sean Diddy Combs, who worked closely with Biggie, put Faith and Biggie together as a couple to keep an eye on Biggie. The book even says that Faith later thought Diddy might have had something to do with Biggie's murder. These ideas are very upsetting to Faith. She lost her husband in a horrible way, and now she feels like people are trying to make her look guilty for something she did not do. Someone close to Faith spoke to the Daily Mail and said that Faith is mortified by what the book says. That means she is very embarrassed and hurt. It is painful for her to hear these things, especially because she lived through the terrible time when Biggie was killed. His murder was one of the saddest moments in her life. Now, she has to relive that pain because of what is written in this book. The false claims have not only upset her, but also affected her family. Faith didn't even know about the book at first. She found out because people started calling her about it. She was shocked and heartbroken. She had to talk to her son, Christopher Jr., who is now 27 years old. He was just a baby when his father died. Now he is hearing these terrible rumors and he is confused and upset. Faith had to explain to him that none of the things in the book are true. She wants to protect him from all this pain. Faith has said clearly that she had nothing to do with Biggie's death. She loved him and still misses him. Over the years, many stories and rumors have come out about what happened to Biggie, but this new book is one of the most hurtful. Faith is now thinking about taking legal action against the publisher. She wants to clear her name and protect her family from more harm. She has not filed a lawsuit yet, but she is talking to lawyers and deciding what to do next. People are waiting to see what steps she will take to fight these painful accusations.
I feel upset that I'm attached to this. I was told that it was a positive piece with a little more of my personal background. It wasn't pitched to me as a story rehashing sensational events that took place.
Faith is also not happy with Lifetime's new documentary, Biggie and Faith Evans, which talks about her life with her late husband. She says she feels tricked into taking part in the project, and now she is upset about how the documentary turned out.
I was pitched this project as something different that hasn't been seen before from my perspective about how I grew up and how I ended up falling in love with Big.
In an interview with Page 6, Faith said she was told the documentary would show more of her personal life and be a positive piece. But when she saw it, she felt it was sensationalized and focused on the wrong things. She shared that it wasn't meant to be a story about rehashing old drama. She doesn't want to bring up painful memories, hurt relationships she has worked to repair, or damage the legacy of notorious Big.
There's so many stories and so many events that happen, and a lot of it has already been talked about. So I've never felt the need to have to explain things or clarify things to the public. I lived it.
The trailer for the documentary makes it sound like a dramatic love story.
The most controversial love story in hip-hop history.
I think it was a great love story.
Told by those who lived it.
We had very strong feelings.
He was in love with Faith and he was in love with Kim.
It starts by calling Faith and Biggie's relationship the most controversial love story in hip-hop history. The documentary talks about their whirlwind engagement, Biggie's affairs with other women like Lil' Kim and Charlie Baltimore, and the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that led to the deaths of both Tupac, Shakur, and Biggie. But Faith is upset because the show makes it seem like their relationship was mostly about drama and cheating. She explains, the Tupac stuff, the different women. How many times are people going to talk about that? It was supposed to be a love story, and it turns into cheating and Lil' Kim. We've come so far past that. Lifetime is all about drama. Faith, who also helps manage Biggie's estate, says the documentary mostly uses old footage and edits it in a way that makes the drama seem worse. She is not the only one upset by this. She mentioned that Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace, is also very upset. She worked hard to make sure Biggie's legacy is remembered in a positive light, and now this documentary feels like it's undoing that progress. Biggie was even nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Faith believes this documentary is taking things in the wrong direction. Faith says she will not promote the documentary. She made it clear that she cares about her morals and would never support something she is not proud of at this point in her career. A representative from Lifetime did not respond to any questions about the documentary. In another controversial news round, in 2024, Faith said something in an interview that got a lot of people talking. She said, "A little DK is a F King turnoff for me." Many fans were shocked to hear such a bold statement. Some people felt it was honest and showed that women can talk about what they want in a partner. They saw it as a strong woman speaking her truth. Others thought it was too much to say out loud and called it rude or disrespectful. Some even said she should not speak that way in public, especially because she is a well-known figure. The topic quickly spread on social media, with people giving their own opinions. It started a big debate about whether talking about private matters like this should be kept quiet or shared openly. Faith's words made many people think about how we talk about and preferences. Some women said they agreed with her and were glad she said what many are afraid to say. Others said it was too harsh and could hurt people's feelings. Some men felt attacked and said it was unfair to judge someone only by their body. But others believed Faith was just being honest about what she likes and does not like in a partner. Everyone has a right to their own opinion and what they look for in a relationship. After their divorce, her ex-husband, Stevie J, also spoke out. He said their relationship was not easy. He admitted that they both had problems and made mistakes. He said they argued a lot, but he learned from it. Stevie said that people should not hold on to the past, but try to become better. He hopes both he and Faith can move forward in peace and find happiness again.